All right. Everyone who are not here since 10 p.m., welcome to our fourth week. And we're going to talk about a very important issue today, যেটা হলো physical, mental, and sexual well-being in college. আচ্ছা, এখন all right, I'm gonna share my screen. Right, so Amlan can start talking.
Oh, the first one. Acha, so US legal system is different from Bangladesh's সাথে compare করলে. I don't really know how the Bangladesh legal system works, so I don't even know if it works at all sometimes. But the legal system in the US is basically categorized into three parts. There's a federal jurisdiction, there's state, and there's local community. So the law gulo কিছু কিছু federal law আছে, which is like it's prevalent throughout the whole country, right? আবার কিছু state law আছে which specific to certain states. For example, নিউ ইয়র্কে কিছু state law আছে, আবার নিউ ইয়র্ক থেকে নিউ জার্সিতে গেলে law পাল্টায় যায় বা law different হয়, আবার জার্সি থেকে কানেক্টিকাটে গেলে আবার different law. So every state has their own set of rules and regulations that you need to abide by. And it doesn't matter where you're from originally. So তুমি যদি ধরো আমি নিউ জার্সি resident, doesn't mean that if I go to Connecticut, if I break the law, the New Jersey laws apply only, right? Everything is not legal in Jersey, yeah, but that's a good point. Most things are legal in Jersey. আর তাছাড়াও আছে local community. So let's say if you belong to a certain university, ওইটার কিছু law আছে that you need to abide by, right? And if you don't abide by them, you can be penalized for it. They can take legal action against you. So global হচ্ছে federal, তার থেকে এক step নিচে হচ্ছে state, তার থেকে এক step নিচে হচ্ছে local community, and you need to abide by all three tiers of laws and regulations.
Some laws are very contradicting and different.
Right.
You just go with your state law. State first.
Right. Acha, violating laws can, so for example, if I break a law, right, and I'm a US citizen J friend, সে একটা সেম লটা ভাঙলো, সে সেম ক্রাইমটা করলো, it can have a more serious impact on me than that person, কারণ we are foreign nationals, we are at a disadvantage, and there's nothing you can do about it. You just live through it. এখানে কিছু কিছু জায়গায় loopholes আছে, you can take advantage of them, but it's best not to, because you have a lot more at stake than some random US citizen. ঠিক আছে? I think that's it. That's it for this slide. There's nothing more. Do you want to take this or should I?
You can take it.
Acha, so physical well-being, we just had a slide on the things you should be doing. Acha, Protha, I think he asked, what do you mean by loopholes? Loopholes হচ্ছে বাংলাদেশে যা হয়। So গাড়ি তোমাকে তাড়া করলো সার্জেন্ট, তুমি ঘুষ দিয়ে বেড়ে গেলা। ঠিক আছে, আমি নিজে ওখানে একই জিনিস করে আসছি। But things, there are certain things that you can do here as well that you shouldn't, because the consequences if you get caught might be more severe for you.
Protha, if you go to a different state, that state law applies. So if it's different, you have to abide by the state law that you are in. Yeah.
Right. Acha, physical well-being before you come to the US, তোমার ইমিউনাইজেশন নিতে হবে, ভ্যাকসিন নিতে হবে। কিছু কিছু কমন ভ্যাকসিন যেটা সব ইউনিভার্সিটি রিকোয়ার করে, সেটা হচ্ছে MMR, tuberculosis, chickenpox, hepatitis A and B, and there are others that are specific to university. So it's internal policy, right? So ইউনিভার্সিটিরা কিছু স্পেসিফিক ভ্যাকসিন রিকোয়ার করে, otherwise they won't let you come here. আর যদি ভ্যাকসিন না নিয়ে আসো, সেক্ষেত্রে ওরা রেজিস্ট্রেশন করতে দেয় না কোর্সের জন্য। So I have faced that. আমি ভ্যাকসিন না নিয়ে আসি নাই, করোনা যখন গেছিলাম তখন ঠিক ছিল। When I had to transfer, when I came to Princeton for grad school, তখন আমার ভ্যাকসিন চাইছিল, ভ্যাকসিনের পেপারস চাইছিল, and I didn't submit it on time, so I was put on registration hold. Registration hold মানে হচ্ছে you can't enroll for your courses on time. So the moment you submit your papers, they remove the registration and you can go back to your usual life. ঠিক আছে? এছাড়াও the second point is health insurance. University, as international students, you are required to have health insurance by the university. So it has একটা significant amount of টাকা কাটে তোমার তোমার scholarship থেকে বা তোমার if you pay out of pocket, then a significant amount of টাকা কাটে. But the good thing is that health insurance covers a lot, usually student health plans. খুব ছোট অ্যামাউন্টের একটা কোপে থাকে, হয়তো কিছু কিছু ক্ষেত্রে কিছু কিছু ক্ষেত্রে থাকেও না. It depends on your policy or the insurance that you're in. And it covers more or less everything, right? It covers things from x-ray to um, I don't know, আমি জানি না আসলে ডাক্তারের কাছে খুব একটা বেশি.
Broken ankles.
হ্যাঁ, it covers a lot of things. আচ্ছা, 3 নাম্বার, ভ্যাকসিনের পেপারটা কেমনে পাবা? সেটা হচ্ছে you you get the vaccine from, let's say, Lab Aid, বাংলাদেশের Lab Aid এর থেকে আমি যেখান থেকে করেছিলাম, ওখানে যাবা ভ্যাকসিন দিতে, তারপরে ওরা একটা ইয়ের মতন ফিল আপ করে দিবে, একটা পেপার ওয়ার্কের মতন। ইটস লাইক আ ব্রোশিওর যেটার মধ্যে কলাম করা থাকে, এই ভ্যাকসিন দিছে, এই ভ্যাকসিন দিছে, এত তারিখে বুস্টার ডোজ, এত তারিখে এই সেই।
ছোটবেলায় অনেকের হলুদ রঙের একটা এরকম কার্ডের মধ্যে
রাইট রাইট
ইয়ে লেখা থাকতো না, ওইটাই বেসিক্যালি রিজেনারেট করবে আর কি। হ্যাঁ, ছোটবেলায় দেওয়া ছিল। আমাদের ছোটবেলায় যেমন অনেক কিছুই দেওয়া হয় না, টিউবারকুলোসিস, এমএমআর আমরা দেই না। এমএমআর পার্টিকুলারলি আসলে এই ঠান্ডার দেশের জন্যই বেশি ইম্পর্টেন্ট দেওয়া। সো নতুন করে ভ্যাকসিন দিতে হবে। হ্যাঁ,
যেগুলো দেও নাই সেগুলো নতুন করে দিবা, যেগুলো দিছো এন্ড কনফিডেন্ট যে তুমি দিছো, just go to the doctor and say that okay, I lost my paper, but I'm vaccine দিছি, তারপর উনি
ইউনিভার্সিটি চিকেন পক্স রিকোয়ার করে, যদি বলে যে হচ্ছে চিকেন পক্স এর মানে অ্যান্টিবডি থাকা লাগবে, সেক্ষেত্রে ইউ ক্যান জাস্ট প্রুভ যে তোমার চিকেন পক্স হয়ে গেছে। ইউ ক্যান জাস্ট ডু আ সিরাম টেস্ট, ওরা অ্যান্টিবডি চেক করে দেখবে চিকেন পক্স অ্যান্টিবডি আছে, এন্ড ইউ আর গুড। ইউ ডোন্ট হ্যাভ টু টেক ভ্যাকসিন again, but you have to have a proof that you do have chicken pox antibody in your blood.
ওই ভ্যাকসিন যতগুলো পারো দিয়ে আসাই ভালো, কারণ এখানে আসলে পরে একে তো রেজিস্ট্রেশন হোল্ড থাকবে, তারপর সেকেন্ডলি টাকা খরচ হবে, কারণ কোপে আছে, ইন্স্যুরেন্স আছে, মানে ফ্রি না। আচ্ছা, তো তারপরে that's or warm clothes, depending on which state you're in, this might be an important factor. So if you're anywhere in the East Coast, that includes New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, upstate New York, আরো খারাপ, এইসব জায়গায় থাকলে পরে গরম জামা কাপড় নিয়ে আসতে পারো। অনেকে অ্যাডভাইস করে যে এখান থেকে কেনা ভালো, which is also true, but মানে things here cost a lot. এখান থেকে কিনলে টাকা বেশি লাগে, তো বাংলাদেশ থেকে যতটা নিয়ে আসতে পারো ততটা ভালো। আচ্ছা, আর এখানে আসার পর কি কি জিনিস খেয়াল রাখতে হবে? সো freshman 15 বলে একটা পপুলার ফ্রেজ আছে। what does it mean? The idea is that এখানে আসার পর মানুষ খাওয়া দাওয়া বেশি শুরু করে, especially freshman year, and because it's just a difference in lifestyle. তো ওখানে তো বাবা মা একটা বাবা মা খাওয়ায়, তার থেকে বড় কথা হচ্ছে একটা ডিফারেন্ট স্টাইল অফ লাইফ, রাইট? এখানে আসার পরে কোনো কিছু রেগুলেশন নাই, ইউ ক্যান ইট হোয়াটএভার ইউ ওয়ান্ট, এন্ড পিপল obviously go for the unhealthy stuff, and they gain weight. So freshman 15 হচ্ছে গিয়ে 15 pounds. It refers to gaining 15 pounds in your freshman year. Is it you who is drawing on the slide?
I don't know why that happens.
Acha, and the second thing is primary care physician and health center and gym. Acha, so every school should have their own health center, right? And the idea goes যে তোমার একটা primary care physician assign করা থাকবে। primary care physician কি? So PCP হচ্ছে গিয়ে বাংলাদেশে একটা ফ্যামিলি ডাক্তারের মতন। There is a doctor that you go to regularly, এই টাইপের। So you're assigned one person who takes care of you. তোমার যদি জ্বর আসে বা কোনো সমস্যা হয়, that's the person you go to, right? আচ্ছা, সেকেন্ড থিং হচ্ছে গিয়ে জিম। সো জিম কিছু কিছু ইউনিভার্সিটিতে ফ্রি, কিছু কিছু ইউনিভার্সিটিতে ফ্রি না, ইউ নিড টু পে ফর ইট। কর্নেলে ফ্রি ছিল না, প্রিন্সটনে ফ্রি, but I highly recommend going to the gym, and we'll get into why physical exercise is important in a later slide on mental health. But জিমে যাওয়া উচিত। জিম মানে ওয়ার্কআউট করে একদম মানে রেসলার হয়ে যেতে হবে এমন না, just regular exercise, because life here, when you keep studying, you mm, tend to not care about your physique. সেখান থেকে আর শারীরিক সমস্যার থেকে বড় কথা মেন্টাল সমস্যাও হয়, মানে মেন্টাল স্ট্রেস অ্যাড করে অনেক কিছু। সো জাস্ট প্র্যাকটিস গোয়িং টু দ্য জিম। আচ্ছা, আর let me just create this, it's bothering me. আচ্ছা, আরেকটা হচ্ছে গিয়ে medication. So এখানে when you, so your insurance might cover some cost of your medication depending on the plan that you're in, but again কিছু বেসিক মেডিকেশন নিয়ে আসা ভালো আমার মনে হয়। আমার যেমন এখনো আছে, প্রতিবার বাংলাদেশে গেলে নিয়ে আসি, কারণ এখানে এখানে মেডিসিন পাওয়া এতটা সোজা না বাংলাদেশের মতন। হোয়াট ডু আই মিন বাই দ্যাট, সেটা হচ্ছে যে কোনো প্রেসক্রিপশন ড্রাগ কিনতে গেলে ইউ নিড আ প্রেসক্রিপশন। বাংলাদেশে যেমন আমি চাইলেই যে কোনো ওষুধ কিনতে পারি, রাইট? এখানে তেমন না, এখানে সবকিছু রেগুলেটেড। সো ওভার দি কাউন্টার প্রেসক্রিপশন ড্রাগ আছে। ওভার দি কাউন্টার মানে হচ্ছে জাস্ট নর্মাল মেডিসিন, যেমন ধরো প্যারাসিটামল টাইপের মেডিসিন যেটা পাওয়া যায় রেগুলারলি অ্যাভেলেবল। আর যদি স্পেসিফিক্যালি কোনো ডিজিজের জন্য হয়, স্পেসিফিক্যালি কোনো একটা প্রবলেমের জন্য হয়, তাহলে you need a prescription to buy that drug, right? Antibiotics, steroid and everything. So কিছু কিছু বেসিক মেডিকেশন, তোমার যদি কোনো হেলথ প্রবলেম থাকে, and if you really rely on medications, then you should get it from Bangladesh. Otherwise এখানেও আছে, you just need to go to the doctor and get a prescription for it.
If you have a like condition যেটার জন্য তোমার আর কি রেগুলারলি বাংলাদেশে থাকতে ওষুধ খেতে হয়, আই রেকমেন্ড যে ওটার স্টক একদম নিয়ে আসো, বিকজ ইউ ডোন্ট নো এখানে তুমি কি পাবা না। সো প্রথম কয়েক মাস যেন অ্যাটলিস্ট অসুবিধা না হয়। লেটার অন ইউ ক্যান ফিগার আউট যে what is available and what's not. All right, this is my slide. So America is a very different culture. Okay, এবং after people come here, they are encountered with many different things যেটা দেশে থাকতে হয়তো আমরা কল্পনাও করতে পারতাম না। One of those things is alcohol. এখানে alcohol is easily available. You can drink with friends at a bar. Okay, so even if you are around alcohol, whether or not you drink, it is important to know how about the responsible use of alcohol. So this slide is if you are someone who never plans on drinking, or it's religiously forbidden, or you just don't like it, you are a absolute যেটাকে teetotaler বলে, যে একদম alcohol স্পর্শ করে না, right? There are a couple things you should know. প্রথমটা হচ্ছে no one will ever force you. যদি কেউ করে, that's wrong of them. Stay strong, be strict, and say that আমি খাবো না. So stop trying to convince me, and be very, very strong in stating your preferences, because no one has the right to tell you to step out of your comfort zone. Okay? Acha. But however, you probably will have to be okay with your friends drinking around you. ধরো কোথাও খেতে গেলা, at the end of their meal a friend orders a glass of wine. I know that you don't drink, and maybe you are uncomfortable by the idea of alcohol around you, but you're gonna have to be okay, because drinking is kind of a social culture. আমাদের for example, drinking is even graduate স্কুলের যখন ইন্টারভিউ হয়, মিটিংস হয়, আন্ডারগ্রেডে আমরা যখন সিনিয়র ইয়ারে গ্র্যাড স্কুলে অ্যাপ্লাই করছি, the grad school events are flowing with alcohol, এবং ডিপার্টমেন্ট থেকে ওটা প্রোভাইড করে। It's a social culture. Having a drink with your professor is a thing. It's a social thing. It's a place where you bond with your professor or something like that, right? However, do not think that just because everyone is drinking alcohol and bonding over that doesn't mean that you won't get to bond, or you won't get to have all this fun because you do not drink alcohol. You can just drink a non-alcoholic drink, and there are plenty of, even bars always serve non-alcoholic drinks. Okay, so tumi jekhanei jao na kena, there will always be non-alcoholic drinks for you to, be drinking and socializing, but not drinking alcohol. Yeah, so আর আরেকটা জিনিস হচ্ছে গিয়ে something like if you're not that, you know, if you're like iffy about should I drink alcohol, should I not drink alcohol, it's entirely up to you. What I want to stress that you need to accept that your religious, cultural and personal views are important to you, and কেউ যদি তোর question করে why don't you drink, এটা কি ধরনের কথা? You need to be proud of whatever view that you hold instead of being like, you know, আমি জানি না why I don't drink, I'm just uncomfortable around alcohol, এরকম না বলে just বলবা very proudly, very strongly that I don't drink, it's my religious view or it's my cultural or personal view, and I just don't, I won't drink. যেটাই করবা, be very strong, have strong feelings about it আর কি. And most importantly, even if you do not drink yourself, you should know how to handle a situation where your friends can get drunk. When people, men or women, that they get drunk, bad things sometimes happen. Bad things bolte ki, they get taken advantage of, they get robbed, they get mugged, they get kidnapped, and a lot of other things because they're not in their senses. If they're driving when they're intoxicated, that can lead to accidents. এটা নিয়ে আরো বলছি, but if you are someone who is not drinking, you can be always a designated driver when you go with your friends. You can say that তোমরা drink করো, I'll be only drinking non-alcoholic drinks, I'll be the one driving you back home. Great. এবং দ্বিতীয়ত কোনো ফ্রেন্ড যদি অসুস্থ হয়ে পড়ে, you should know what to do. You should know alcohol poisoning, কখন যদি ধর কেউ বমি করছে বা throwing up or in a very dangerous state, you should know to call the ambulance or call the police or ask for help from someone. আর যদি মনে করো যে just very drunk, you can just take them back home, put them to bed, etc. That's how you can care for your friend if somehow there is an accident in drinking. আরেকটা জিনিস that I recommend, whether or not you're drinking, you can go to a bar even if you don't drink, just to hang out with your friends, right? ধরো তুমি এরকম একটা বারে গেলা, you enter the bar, ওখানে for example your friends are drinking and even you're drinking a non-alcoholic drink, okhaneo you should always know to protect yours and your friends drinks. Protect drinks bolte ami ki bujhacchi, protecting drinks mane if you have different glasses of beverages, you should make sure you never leave those glasses alone and you're dancing in the club. Do not ever do that. একজনকে সবসময় বসায় রাখবা to watch over those glasses, কারণ there are bad people, they can mix something in the drink and then bad things happen. So তুমি alcoholic drink খাও, non-alcoholic drink খাও, always keep an eye on your drink. Okay.
আচ্ছা আমি একটু interrupt করি. I heard a good point here. So Prothar wrote, same goes for bacon. And I just want to point out that Bangladesh is probably the only country in the whole world, এটা মনে হয় অন্য মুসলিম কান্ট্রিতেও হয় না, যেখানে অ্যালকোহল এবং পর্ক দে রিগার্ডেড অ্যাজ দি সেম লেভেল অফ টাবু। এটা মনে হয় বাংলাদেশই একমাত্র যেখানে মানুষের খাবারের হ্যাবিটকে রেসপেক্ট করতে পারে না। It's very sad, and it's very sad because I have personally faced this issue, so I thought it's a good time to bring this up. If people can be okay with you having a different set of diet based on your religious restrictions, you should be able to do that too. And it's just sad that Bangladeshi মানুষজন এটা করতে পারে না. So when you come here, you see people eating insects, you see people eating a bunch of weird shit that you won't even go near, and that's okay. That's perfectly okay. You should be getting into the habit of doing that, especially Bangladesh, যেখানে we claim to be a secular country for God knows what reason, even though we are clearly not. And we see people from different backgrounds, from different religious backgrounds. আমি গরু খাই না, তুমি গরু খাইতেই পারো, right? And that's fine. আমি pork খাই, তুমি pork খাও না. That's fine too, right? Thank you, Dia. Yes, that's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah. So I'm going to talk about what if you plan to drink. It's perfectly okay if you want to drink. No judgments from anyone. No one should be able to judge you. হ্যাঁ, বাবা মারা জানলে পরে একটু বকাটকা দেয়, but they are not the ones who are studying here. They don't know the situation here. এটা হতে পারে. You can adopt some certain things of your culture. Um, Acha, so if you are going to drink, what are the important things to keep in mind? Drinking is not legal under the age of 21. But that being said, almost everyone drinks before they're 21. However, like Amlan said in the very first slide, a law applies to you more than another US citizen. ঠিক আছে, ইউএস সিটিজেন সে বারে গেল উইথ আ ফেক আইডি, যেটা স্টেট করে যে তার বয়স 21 বছরের বেশি। তখন যেটা করবে সেটা হচ্ছে ওরা তোমার আইডিটা কেটে ফেলে দিবে, বা তোমাকে একটা নোটিশ দিবে, অনেক কিছুই করতে পারে। But you, when you go, I'm not saying necessarily kharap kichu hobe, but you are not a citizen. Remember, you have a visa that can be revoked. Okay, so I recommend international student jara F1 visa te ache. Already Trump is doing so much things. Do not complicate things. Do not get a fake ID. Just wait until you're 21. Just abide by the law. Okay. All right. So under the age of 21, drinking is not legal. It's illegal to purchase alcohol or drink alcohol. Ebong it's illegal to purchase alcohol for someone and serve it to someone who is under the age of 21. So for example, I'm under 21 and Omlan is not. Omlan cannot buy a drink for me. That is not allowed. Okay. Next, the important thing is drinking এর সাথে একটা জিনিস খুব ওতপ্রোতভাবে জড়িত, সেটা হচ্ছে driving. So DUI, which is driving under influence, not just of alcohol, it can be of any drugs, weed, whatever. There is a legal blood alcohol limit, which is 0.08% for drinking and driving. এর উপরে যদি তোমার breathalyzer দিয়ে যদি তোমার blood alcohol content এর চেয়ে বেশি দেখে, you can get arrested and you will face a lot of consequences for driving under the influence. However, if you are, you can also get a DUI even if your blood alcohol level is under 0.08. Okay, so maybe you just had one drink, it's under 0.08, but if you hit another car, they will come and analyze you. If they find any trace of alcohol or any other intoxicants, they will put you under DUI. And again, being a foreign national, it is more harmful and more risky for you to be in that position than a US citizen person. Okay. Next, if you're drinking, know your tolerance. Drinking a lot, throwing up, it really is not classy. It really is not done, because you are definitely not the one cleaning up your vomit if you're throwing up. So know your tolerance. খাবারের সঙ্গে সঙ্গে drink করলে it helps slow the absorption of alcohol. It helps, it prevents you from getting too tipsy too fast. If you are drunk or tipsy or under the influence, make sure that you get a safe ride home. That safe ride can be a Uber, specifically not a Uber where you are alone, but maybe a Uber with a friend. You should always, if that's not an option, you should always have a pre-designated driver যে তোমার সঙ্গে যাবে, কিন্তু সে কোনো ধরনের ড্রিঙ্ক করবে না, যে তোমাকে ড্রাইভ করে সেফলি বাসায় নিয়ে আসবে। More importantly, alcohol abuse can lead to a long list of health problems. So if you feel that anyone is developing an alcohol addiction, you should please encourage them to talk to a counselor, or if that person's you should talk to a counselor so that they can lead you to the next steps. Are these points from personal experience? Some of them are, some of them are not.
If you're asking if I drink, yes.
Yeah, we both have drunk in the presence of our parents also. So
okay, I just want to clarify something. I think the most important point in this whole list, if you are going to drink, is knowing your tolerance. It's important. I can't stress it enough. Which leads to the point that when should you have your first drink? You should only do that when you're with people you trust. In fact, every time you're drinking, you should do that when it's around people that you trust. Random মানুষের সাথে drink না করাই ভালো, especially if you're let's say in a bar environment. It's good to not drink with random people, right? For obvious reasons.
All right. So you want to talk about this, drug abuse?
All right. Acha. So right. Okay. So there are restrictions on the use of drugs in the US, right? Um, so sure, let me just quickly, I got distracted by Shona's question. You cannot, because, well, if you're under 21, you cannot. Right? You can't keep alcohol in your room. Acha, so drug is a big problem in the US, and there are federal laws. So এখন কিছু কিছু change হচ্ছে, right? We all know that weed is being legalized in certain states in the US. For example, Massachusetts has legalized weed, recreational weed. কিন্তু federally এখনো এটাকে legalize করা হয় নাই, so it's still prohibited. And the possession or use of weed is punishable by federal law. কিন্তু তোমার state specific কিছু law থাকতে পারে, তো state যেসব state weed legal, so let's say you go to Massachusetts and weed is legal there, right? I think so. Recreational use of weed is legal. So it's still a crime. ধরো federal একটা building এ গিয়ে if you smoke weed, that's wrong. That you can't do that. That's legally punishable by law. But if you're outside those federal premises, ধরো আমি রাস্তায় বসে smoke করছি, I think that's fine, because if it's legal in that state. But you will probably encounter more of weed than alcohol in the US. A lot of people smoke weed. It's a very common thing to do in colleges. I don't. Shoti doesn't either. But it's a very, very, very common thing to do in the US, and you'll see a lot of people doing that.
I also have a point to add. সেটা হচ্ছে a lot of things you will এখানে আসার পরে দেখবা যে অনেকে অনেক কিছু করে that you would never be okay with doing. Marijuana for me is something like that, but some of my friends, they're big marijuana fans. They're always they're looking for excuses and opportunities to smoke some weed. And weed is actually from a health perspective, alcohol is worse than weed, but I just cannot tolerate that smell of weed. So there are some things যেটা আর কি প্রথম খুব কষ্ট হবে, because প্রথম আমি উইডের গন্ধ সহ্যই করতে পারতাম না। আমি আসলে অ্যালকোহলের গন্ধ প্রথম সহ্য করতে পারতাম না, বাট মানে if someone মানে আমি একবার ডর্মে ছিলাম that my neighbor used to smoke weed and I used to feel so suffocated all the time. But those are things that you're gonna have to get used to. I have complained about him, Jay, bhai, you want to smoke, go outside and smoke, and I don't know, do something else. Don't smoke in your room, don't stink up my room. But weed is pretty much ganja, I guess. Strange.
Acha. So obviously, if you drive under the influence of drugs, it can result in arrest, and eventually it can result in a visa being revoked. So it's the same with alcohol, right? Are of course so these are about federal and state laws, but your school might have specific laws regarding the use of weed. So be mindful of those, and you will see a lot of people using these substances. তোমার যদি করতে ইচ্ছা হয়, go ahead and do it. No one's going to stop you. Just be mindful of others, be mindful of the rules there. Acha, next slide. So acha, this is a problem. So most people, acha, one thing I forgot in the previous slide was smoking. Smoking is not that common here, surprisingly. Bangladesh's campus gale, it's a different scenario, right? এখানে এতটা common না. You won't see people smoke, and if they do, they usually do it outside. They are designated. In fact, most dorms are smoke free. What does that mean? You can't smoke within a certain distance to your dorm. You have to go outside.
Smoke free. One thing to remember about the US is that the atmosphere is very dry, and fire hazards are greater than in Bangladesh. A small spark can lead to a lot of fire because batashe humidity নাই খুব একটা, and that মানে almost মানে আমার even within my apartment I cannot light like incense sticks, এরকম নিয়ম আছে আর কি. Omlan does though regularly. But I don't know.
I want to clarify, I don't smoke. আমার ধূপ দেই ঘরে.
Incense sticks, that's what I said. I didn't say you smoke. Do these laws apply to smoking also? No, you can totally smoke a cigarette and drive. কেউ তোমাকে ওটার জন্য arrest করবে না. Cigarettes are not depressants. They do get you addicted. They do a number of things on your lungs, but they are not illegal. It's not illegal to smoke a cigarette anywhere. But it's surprising. It's you will see less people smoking cigarettes and more people smoking weed here.
Protoy, I think you will see many smart people doing drugs, and exclusively. So your perspective will change if you come to the US. আমিও ছিলাম এরকম, আমিও ভাবতাম ওই একই জিনিস, but that's not true.
No, Dia, if you are on medication, that is not considered as drugs. Okay, if you have a prescribed medical marijuana prescription, that's okay. সেটার জন্য তোমাকে arrest করবে না, but make sure have that,
same goes for depressant.
have that prescription with you, কারণ people মানে the authorities might want to see it. আরেকটা বলতে চাই that if you are on any kind of medication and you are drinking, the combined effect can be very harmful. So be careful and make sure you know if it's okay to drink while you are on that medication.
Acha, coming back to this slide, so people have delusion যে USA পুরাটা safe. USA পুরাটা safe না, অনেক neighborhood আছে বাংলাদেশের থেকে অনেক খারাপ. So what happens if your neighborhood is not safe, if the college campus neighborhood is not safe? So the first resource is 911, and it's one of the best resources. It's as opposed to Bangladesh, ekhane people actually do respond and they're very quick about responding. HR, that's you just, any phone you pick up, you just call 911 and they connect you to the nearest police station, right? And there is someone always on call for these emergency cases, right? It's very well staffed and they will handle it very quickly. Second point, hoche buddy system. Buddy system ta ki, it's probably something that you'll get used to, you'll get acquainted with once you come here. But basically the idea is that you always travel, if your neighborhood is not safe, you always travel with someone else. Let's say it's 2 a.m. in the morning, রাত্রেবেলায় 2টার সময়, and you're coming back from your university, college কোনো একটা কাজ ছিল, and you're coming back from the university to your dorm, right? You don't travel alone. রাত 2টার সময় you don't travel alone. Have someone else with you যে তোমার সাথে এই রাস্তাটা হেঁটে আসবে। আচ্ছা, এছাড়াও আছে হচ্ছে গিয়ে you always travel in twos আর কি, দুজন একসাথে হাঁটা চলা করবে। Taser is not okay. Taser is illegal in most states, if not all.
Wait, hang on.
Here.
Let me share it again. Yeah, sorry about the interruption.
Acha, so the third point is personal alarms and pepper spray. And I just verified that pepper spray is legal in most states, but there are restrictions on the quantity of pepper spray that you can use. So do make sure that you're abiding by state laws. But if your neighborhood is not safe, you can carry pepper spray on you or personal alarms. Personal alarm bolte dhoro someone gets notified if you don't access your phone in a while or something like that. There are apps for doing that. You can just download one on your phone. And let's say you switch it on before you start walking, and someone gets notified if you don't switch on your phone for a few hours, right? Acha. Fourth point that I go that I vehemently maintain is not using cash at all. Our college campus is one of the safest in the US, but still, just get into the habit of it. If you're traveling to New York or somewhere else where there's a high crime rate, not using cash is a good idea. On debit or credit card, you can easily just deactivate. If it's stolen or if there's no mugging. But cash is সেটা করা যায় না, so just avoid using cash. এছাড়া the other thing that I want to mention is blue light services in your university. So blue light it's a response to a 1990s incident where a girl in Lehigh was raped and murdered. So তারপরে থেকে they installed these blue light stations in different in almost all college campuses. They were required to. So the idea is that একটা blue light, if someone is stalking you, someone is following you, you run from one blue light to the next, And blue light, there's a red button and it directly connects to 911 or the nearest police station. You press that button and you speak on the phone. ওখানে একটা terminal এর মতন আছে, you can just click that button and then that connects you to the nearest station. And they'll be there very soon. And you can just run from one blue light to the next. And blue light, you can দূর থেকে দেখা যায় আর কি. That's the idea. That's blue light. Acha, Uber, Lyft, or Via. I haven't really used Via, but Uber and Lyft are very common rideshare platforms that you'll be using, most likely if you come here. So, one thing that Shoiti does is she shares her ride details with me whenever she's riding Uber or Lyft, and so I get to track where the car is, right? And so you can do that with a friend. You can share your ride with a friend if you feel that it's late, or if you feel that it's not safe. এছাড়াও আরেকটা জিনিস যেটা করা উচিত সেটা হচ্ছে always check your license, the car you're getting into, and match it with the information on the app and the driver's face, right? And the thing that's different from Ubers in Bangladesh versus Ubers here is that the app actually works, and you can track vehicles, you can set location, and they actually pick you up from that location, as opposed to Bangladesh যেখানে ফোন করে বলতে হয় যে ভাই এখানে আসেন ওখানে যান. Acha, so the last resource that Shoki wanted to mention was Safe Ride, Safe Walk, and Door to Door. DLL specific resource. Safe Ride, I think she talked about it already, but Safe Walk is almost the same, where you share your location. So it sends out, it transmits the location from your device, from your mobile phone. And again, you can share that location with another friend of yours. A door to door হচ্ছে গিয়ে EL এর একটা designated service where you just call a ride, it's free. Your EL এর একটা বাস এসে তোমাকে নিয়ে যাবে, and they'll drop you off at your desired location. And the reason we mention Yale specific resources, even though many people here won't be going to Yale, is that your university might have something similar. So the idea is to expose you to these resources so that you can check in with your university to see whether they have similar resources.
All right, I just wanted to do a demo of my thing. This is something I always carry, my phone and this. What I have in it is basically my keys. If I ever had a car key, I'd probably also put it here. I don't have a car, but I have my pepper spray sort of hanging. I have my ID cards, both the university ID, the state ID, and all the banking cards, insurance cards, all important cards I could probably need. সব একসঙ্গে থাকে, so wherever I go, this one thing is good enough. সাথে phone. I hope that helps. Door to door ta হচ্ছে গিয়ে basically there are two kinds of door to door services, একটা safe ride, একটা shuttle হচ্ছে গিয়ে shuttle 6টার পর থেকে what it does, it does its usual round on the usual route, তারপরে একটা পয়েন্টের পরে গিয়ে they are like okay, ধরো normally ও এই সোজা রাস্তাতেই যেত, but আমার বাসাটা পাশের রাস্তায়, so what they would do is they will take a detour and they will go to the road next to the original route to drop me off. এটা একটা door to door version. আরেকটা door to door হচ্ছে safe ride, যেখানে you actually, it's basically like calling Uber, it just takes a little bit more time to call, it's free. এটা হচ্ছে রাত সন্ধ্যা 6টা থেকে ভোর 6টা পর্যন্ত this service is on. It's not on right now because of coronavirus, which is why I'm doing a lot of Ubers nowadays, but safe ride is very good. আমি সবসময় ইউজ করতাম, you call a ride, 20-30 মিনিটের মধ্যে the ride comes, and then it takes you from whatever building you're at and takes you to whatever other building you want to go to. And you can also order it, so Jodi, if Omlan ever comes to visit me, I can order it for 2 people. So it's basically free Uber, just takes a longer time to come.
No, Uber doesn't mean driving.
Uber is just like you use Uber in
Bangladesh, it's the same idea.
You call a ride basically on the Uber.
Taxi,
basically. Okay.
Next.
All right, you can talk about that.
Acha, so mental health is one of the most ignored topics in not just Bangladesh, Q lover.
আমি জানি না তাহলে কি জানি হয়। I am doing something weird. I'm not sure what it is that I'm doing. Wait. আমি বুঝতেছি না কি হচ্ছে আসলে। My device is kind of sorry for it.
I can share it.
Okay, can you share it? My Google Slides sometimes acts up. Yeah.
Okay, so mental health is one of the most ignored topics in not just Bangladesh, in the US as well. But it's very important, and it's perhaps the most important thing that you should care about in this whole presentation. Why do I say that? Especially as international students, our struggle will different, and it's a lot of additional struggles that we're going to deal with. Notun academic environment, notun social environment, notun cultural environment, and it adds a lot of stress that you probably don't realize right now because you're in that comfort zone. They can asha it hits you very hard and very quickly, right? And being all alone, যদি বাঙালি নাও মানে বাঙালি না থাকলে আরো additional একটা একাকিত্ব লাগে, but family তো নাই, তাছাড়া there aren't people who speak the same language, share the same culture. So that's even lonelier, and that really doesn't help, right? So the ways you can combat these issues that come up as an international student is through engagement with the community that you have in school. সেটা ধরো social club বা social group হতে পারে. Every university has their own extracurricular clubs and activities that you can be part of. যদি ধরো তোমার স্কুলে কোনো বাংলা ক্লাব নাই, you can start one, and you can do fun stuff with people who share the same culture. ধরো তোমার স্কুলে let's say you don't want to start a Bangla club, but you want to be part of some other activity. Let's say you dance and you like dancing, you can join a dance group, like Shruti did, right? Eçharaও physical exercise. So there are studies that say that physical exercise is very important for your mental health, for your sanity. So someone was asking যে এত পড়াশোনা করে কি টাইম বের করা যায় কিনা? যায়, সব সময় যায় তা বলাটা ঠিক না, but you can say you can carve out like 30 minutes every week, right? At the worst case, you can do that, and that I think is, it's not ideal, but it's good enough to keep your sanity, and you should be able to do that. সেটা জিমে গিয়ে হোক বা just take a long walk for 30 minutes, that works as well. Mindfulness exercise, আমার এতটা ধৈর্য নাই, আমার মা আমাকে দিয়ে ইয়ে করতে চাইছিল, quantum meditation. সেটা আমাকে দেওয়া হয়নি, but it works for certain people and it works marvelously. So if you can meditate, that's something that people recommend doing, and it helps calm you down, allegedly, and you should give it a shot if you haven't done so already. এছাড়াও, most importantly, there are counseling services, often free, and কিছু কিছু ক্ষেত্রে you have to give a small copay. But there are mental counseling services যেটা বাংলাদেশে হয় হচ্ছে গিয়ে ও আমি ডাক্তারের কাছে যাবো কেন, আমি পাগল, এই ধরনের একটা স্টিগমা আছে. Get out of it. It's not that you're mad or you're crazy that you need to go to a psychiatrist. আমি আমাদের এখানে আমাদের ল্যাবে there's a guy who is one of the smartest people I know, and he's not depressed or anything, but he always goes to a psychiatrist every month. প্রতি মাসে ওর একটা appointment থাকে, he goes and talks, just a regular checkup. Lots of people do that, and it's not a taboo topic to talk about. So talk about it to people, and if you're not comfortable talking to other people, other friends, go seek professional help. And one thing that you should keep in mind is your needs as an international student is very unique. The experiences that you'll have is other people, the citizens here cannot relate to those experiences. So be very vocal. So one thing that I personally faced was I was never vocal about my struggles or the experiences that I had. The colleges have resources for you. There are existing resources. You just need to be able to tell that to someone যে আমার এটা দরকার বা আমার এই প্রবলেমটা হচ্ছে, find me a resource, guide me towards that resource. There are existing resources. The most difficult thing is to know about them, to know that there are these resources and how to access these resources. And unless you ask people, there are অন্তর্যামী না যে they will understand what you're going through. So you need to talk to people.
That being said, I just want to add something. এখানে তোমরা আজকে যারা আছো, if you guys ever get into US college, if you come here and if you feel like you are facing some kind of mental health issues, I know that you don't know me very well, but at least over the course of these 4 weeks, we've gotten to know each other. একটু হলেও. So please reach out to us and talk to us, even if it's on Facebook, even if we don't know anything personal about each other. If I can be the one that you would feel comfortable talking about, I would be happy to do that. Right?
Well, Atrita is here planning a murder.
Just trying Progna not to kill anyone, not to make her kill anyone. So, okay, so now I'm going to talk about some sexual and reproductive health. We will start off with trying to understand the concept of consent. এই কনসেপ্টটা আমাদের বাংলাদেশে আসলে খুব একটা
না
পরিচিত না, মানে একেবারেই না। ইনফ্যাক্ট রিসেন্টলি আমি জানি যে কোনো একটা বড় প্ল্যাটফর্ম কনসেন্ট সম্পর্কে একটা ভিডিও রিলিজ করেছিল, দে হ্যাড টু টেক ইট ডাউন বিকজ বাংলাদেশের মৌলবাদী মানুষরা এটা নিতে পারে নাই যে কনসেন্ট বলে কিছু থাকতে পারে, যে মেয়েদের কনসেন্ট ইম্পর্টেন্ট। বাট শুধু মেয়েদের না, ছেলেদের, যে কোনো মানুষের, যে কোনো জেন্ডারের, যে কোনো ধরনের রেসের, যে কোনো ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ডের মানুষের কনসেন্ট, মানুষ মাত্রই কনসেন্ট ইম্পর্টেন্ট। সো কনসেন্ট এত বুঝতে, এই যে প্রত্যয় জিজ্ঞেস করছে কনসেন্ট কি।
Great, Pratyay. Let's figure it out together.
Learn about consent. Consent হচ্ছে, if you're আগে play করো না, let me explain. So consent হচ্ছে, if you are trying to, so understand something. বাংলাদেশে যখন you are there, you are with your parents, ভালো মন্দ বাবা মা যা বলে তাই আমরা সবাই করি, and that's in most part that is true. So then you come here, you see an entirely different kinds of environment. Some of you jara er age kokhono drink kore nai will drink. Some of you who were never sexually active before will maybe become sexually active. Some of you have never done marijuana, maybe you will smoke weed. I'm not saying you will necessarily do that, but you should know. তাছাড়া even if you do not do that, you should still be informed about এটা খেলে কি হয়, what to do, or মানে if you're having sex, মানে what are the things you should know about having sex. বাংলাদেশে কোনো সেক্স এড ক্লাস হয় না। সো আই থিঙ্ক, বাট ইউএসএ তে এখানে যারা থাকে তারা কিন্তু হাই স্কুলে সেক্সুয়াল এডুকেশন ম্যান্ডেটরি। সো ইউ কাম হিয়ার উইথ ইউর বাংলাদেশি থটস and then you're like you're in a totally মানে out of your comfort zone, because people here talk openly about sex. They, many of them are sexually active. You will see your friends are sexually active. They're talking about their sex life, and you will get super weirded out. So এই ধরনের জিনিস আগে থেকে মানসিকভাবে প্রস্তুতি থাকা ভালো। Whether or not you decide to have sex, it is 100% important, whether you're a girl and especially for boys, to understand the concept of consent. Consent হচ্ছে, হ্যাঁ, it feels weird, but it should not be. আরো weird জিনিস আমরা ডিসকাস করব, hang on. So কনসেন্টের মধ্যে একটা ইম্পর্টেন্ট কনসেন্ট হচ্ছে কি, যে যার সঙ্গে you're trying to have a sexual intercourse, তার সম্মতি আছে কিনা এই অ্যাক্টটাতে, এই ইন্টারকোর্সটাতে। সো why is it so difficult to understand in Bangladesh? It really shouldn't be. এই ভিডিওটা যদি দেখো, you will see that it's as easy as drinking tea. So can you play it? I hope everyone can hear it. তোমার হেডফোন সরাও।
Can you hear it?
No. You need to enable the you cannot do both video and audio share, so just play it on speaker.
That's not how it should be.
You cannot do both video and audio, so just do sex eds are always necessary, even if virginity is strictly maintained. All right? Sexual education is not just about having sex. It's about your physical protection.
You say, hey, would you like
Can
a
you
cup
hear
of
it
tea?
now?
And they go, oh my God.
Right.
If you're still struggling with consent, just imagine instead of initiating sex, you're making them a cup of tea. You say, hey, would you like a cup of tea? And they go, oh my God, fuck yes, I would fucking love a cup of tea. Thank you. Then you know they want a cup of tea. If you say, hey, would you like a cup of tea? And they're like, I'm not really sure. Then you could make them a cup of tea or not, but be aware they might not drink it. And if they don't drink it, then, and this is the important part, don't make them drink it. Just because you made it doesn't mean you are entitled to watch them drink it. And if they say no thank you, then don't make them tea. At all. Just don't make them tea. Don't make them drink tea. Don't get annoyed at them for not wanting tea. They just don't want tea, okay? They might say, yes, please. That's kind of you. And then when the tea arrives, they actually don't want the tea at all. Sure, that's kind of annoying as you've gone to all the effort of making the tea, but they remain under no obligation to drink the tea. They did want tea, now they don't. Some people change their mind in the time that it takes to boil the kettle, brew the tea, and add the milk. And it's okay for people to change their mind. And you are still not entitled to watch them drink it. And if they're unconscious, don't make them tea. Unconscious people don't want tea. And they can't answer the question, do you want tea? Because they're unconscious. Okay, maybe they were conscious when you asked them if they wanted tea. And they said yes. But in the time it took you to boil the kettle, brew the tea, and add the milk, they are now unconscious. You should just put the tea down. Make sure the unconscious person is safe. And this is the important part again. Don't make them drink the tea. They said yes then, sure, but unconscious people don't want tea. If someone said yes to tea, started drinking it, and then passed out before they'd finished it, don't keep on pouring it down their throat. Take the tea away. Make sure they're safe, because unconscious people don't want tea. Trust me on this. If someone said yes to tea around your house last Saturday, that doesn't mean they want you to make them tea all the time. They don't want you to come around to their place unexpectedly and make them tea and force them to drink it going, but you wanted tea last week. Or to wake up to find you pouring tea down their throat going, but you wanted tea last night. But if you can understand how completely ludicrous it is to force people to have tea when they don't want tea, and you're able to understand when people don't want tea, then how hard is it to understand it when it comes to sex? Whether it's tea or sex, consent is everything. And on that note, I'm going to go make myself a cup of tea.
Yeah, so that's a very entertaining video. I I laugh a lot because when you say it in terms of tea, it sounds like absolutely stupid that একটা মানুষ অজ্ঞান হয়ে আছে, and instead of getting them to safety or calling an ambulance, you're trying to feed them tea, right? Same thing goes with consent. So a few points I want to reiterate. Consent সবসময় নিতে হবে. A person who is a minor or a person who is drunk or unconscious is not capable of giving consent. Number 3, a person can give you consent and then withdraw the consent, and if you do not respect that withdrawal of consent, you are raping that person. Exactly. Consent, in the past someone has given consent to do something doesn't mean they will give consent in the future. If someone gave you consent to make milk tea doesn't mean they will give you consent to make jasmine tea, if you know what I mean. There are different kinds of sexual acts. Jodi ekjon bole je ami eta korte raji achi doesn't mean they will also want to do something somewhere else. Before doing everything, you have to ask them if it's okay for you to do it. Otherwise, you're raping them. You're ignoring their rights as a human being. Is asking for consent normal? Protoy, if you're in Bangladesh, probably not normal, but it should be normal. You, as a responsible person, you should always ask for consent, even if it's as trivial as holding someone's hand for the first time. Can I hold your hand? Is it okay to? It's that person's body. Okay, so a few points. Whether you are a girl or a boy, you have to understand that you have absolute control over your own body. No one has the right to tell you what to do with it. Okay, you need to মেয়েদের জন্য হয়তো বেশি ইম্পর্টেন্ট খানিকটা, বাট ছেলেদের জন্য you need to know how to deal with sexual harassment. There are 3 steps. First of all, you have to ask harasser to stop. তুমি যদি ওকে verbally না বলো বা যদি কোনো signs না দেখাও that you're stopping, you want them to stop, they will not know to stop. তার যদি না শোনে, you need to document all instances of stalking and harassing. It can be, ধরো you go to a class, তুমি দেখো তুমি যখনই বায়োলজি ক্লাস থেকে বেরো একটা ছেলে দাঁড়িয়ে আছে ক্লাসের সামনে. This has been happening for a week and now you're creeped out, right? That is stalking. Okay, that's not sexual harassment, but that's stalking. That's making you uncomfortable. You go up to that person and say that, please stop. Erpore she stop na kore ulta bariye dilo, starts calling you, starts showing up in front of your dorm, and now you're scared. You should document all those instances je eto tarikhe amar er samne chilo, and then detail all those things. Sob shomoy keep a paper trail of anything that's happening with you like this. So if you email your dean about it, if you email your RA about it, keep a paper trail. Email them rather than just verbally talk to them. Tahale paper trail thake. If the administration doesn't do anything about it, you can show them ami eto tarikhe etota shomoy email korechilam saying this, nothing was done. Because sometimes administrations suck and they don't do anything. Okay, and most important is you need to talk to someone. You can talk to your friends, your mentors, Title IX coordinators who are very well equipped with handling the legal side of this kind of incidences, and make sure that you do not blame yourself. Sexual harassment or stalking does not happen because you're too pretty. It does not happen because you were wearing the wrong kind of clothes. It does not happen because you were acting slutty. It does not happen because of any of those things. It happens because the person, the perpetrator, who has not allowed you, who has not given you the respect that you deserve, that person was not brought up right. That person is not a good person. That person did this because they just wanted to. They do not see you as a human being. They wanted to dehumanize you. That's why they did this. It's not your fault in any way. Anyone anywhere can get harassed. Boys get harassed too. Arekta hoche preventing sexual harassment. Etar prevention er jonno there is a very important thing that we have learned about. It's called bystander intervention. Bystander intervention hoche dhoro you are at a bar, you see one of your friends a little tipsy, a little drunk, and this other guy, মানে also your common friend but অত বেশি close না, সে আসলো, সে এসে তোমার ফ্রেন্ডের সঙ্গে খুব তার পাশে বসলো, like trying to and he was like, oh no, let me drop you off. হ্যাঁ, and you are not feeling that something's right. হ্যাঁ, হঠাৎ করে ছেলেটা কেন এসে এরকম আচরণ করতেছে. What you can do, whether you're a boy or girl, you can be like, hey, Asha, no, I was supposed to drop her off, or something like that. Something that kind of takes the tension off from the situation. Something that ensures that the person at risk gets home to safety. So bystander intervention er onek different forms ache, ami sobgulo ekhane discuss korbo na, but if you want to know more, just Google these 2 words, bystander intervention, and you will have a lot of resources on bystander intervention ki ebong kibhabe you can help someone else from going through a bad experience. All right, if you decide to be sexually active, you need to know your birth control measures kiki, the options available to you, and the risk of sexually transmitted infections. Ebong what can you do, মানে কোথায় পাওয়া যায় resources গুলো? Like, is going to the health center enough? Like, what if you need a condom? What if you want to get a T installed in your uterus? What if you want to what if you want to just know more about vaginal infections or other things? So T hoche এটা হচ্ছে IUD, intrauterine device. It's shaped like a T, এজন্য এটাকে বলে T. So you basically, it's not a birth pill, দিয়া. So you basically install it in your uterus, and that prevents the sperm from getting into your fallopian tubes, and that has been one of the very effective birth control forms in the US. But hey, it's a metallic device, Rubaiyat. So that's one of the things. So এরকম অনেক ধরনের birth control আছে. You need to know about them. You need to even if you don't plan to be sexually active now, you still should know about the things you should do right now to protect your sexual and reproductive health. Something else, আরেকটা হচ্ছে গিয়ে taking preventative steps even if you're not sexually active. এটার মধ্যে এক নাম্বার হচ্ছে গিয়ে HPV vaccine, the human papilloma virus, which has been known to cause cervical cancer. এটা আমার মনে হয় যে কোনো বয়সের মেয়েরা once attaining puberty আমার মনে হয় দিয়ে রাখতে পারে, খুব ভালো. There is a pap smear test that you can take to make sure that there are no kinds of মানে no cervical cancer or other kinds of cervical infection that that you have, jate you can always take good care, because this thing has been known to be life-threatening. So women, please take your HPV vaccines once you get the chance to. Other than what if someone gets married there? Is getting married even allowed? I think getting married is allowed. I'm not sure আসলে city hall গিয়ে international studentরা বিয়ে করতে পারে কিনা, but you can definitely get married religiously here. I don't know the steps for proper legal registration, but I think you can. I don't think there is a problem. Okay, so did we know these things before or after US? Prota, we obviously came to know these things after coming here. That's the point in letting you all know about this, jate we wish we knew this earlier. You know, for example, HPV vaccine. I just got my booster dose last year because I didn't know that there is a thing like this. Okay, এখন আমি একটা জিনিস নিয়ে কথা বলবো that I do not have slides on, but I have had people reach out to me over the course of this chat. They wanted to know about menstrual hygiene and health. It is pretty much similar as Bangladesh. মানে বাংলাদেশ বলতে বাংলাদেশে যেরকম, আচ্ছা বাংলাদেশে একটা খুব weird জিনিস for guys who have never faced it, তাদেরকে বলি. So ধরো you went to a pharmacy to buy pads, right? What happens there is they do this really weird thing where they take that pad, they put it in a brown packet, and they put that brown packet in another brown packet, and that in a bag, and তারপরে লুকাই লুকাই এরকম করে দিয়ে দেয় যাতে কেউ না দেখে, like মানে what sorcery, হ্যাঁ যেন bomb আনতেছি, right? So and it's so funny. আর সত্যি কথা বলতে I don't even ever go to the pharmacy to buy my own pads in Bangladesh because I just send my dad. It's easier for a guy to buy it than a girl, because people are just weird about it. They can't take it. I don't know why. Yeah. হ্যাঁ আমার মনে হয় সব মেয়েদেরই আব্বুরা কিনে আনে, because কোনো আব্বুই চায় না যে হচ্ছে তাদের মেয়েটা নিজে কিনতে গিয়ে কিছু একটা উল্টাপাল্টা কিছু শুনুক. Yeah, it's it is hard. It is really sad, nature. It is not funny, but you know, but এখানে সেটা নাই. এখানে you walk into Walgreens, Walmart, সারি সারি pad রাখা. There are so many flavors of pads. They're thin, they're thick, there are different brands. You go, you pick it, you check out. কেউ ওটা লুকায়ও না, কিছুই করে না. It's like very open and everything. Okay, so some things about এখানে কিছু কিছু additional জিনিস পাওয়া যায় যেটা বাংলাদেশে available না. বাংলাদেশে আমরা মোটামুটি just pad ইউজ করি, like there is Senora, Whisper, Stay Free, এরকম কয়টা ব্র্যান্ড আছে. এখানে ব্র্যান্ডের সংখ্যা আরো অনেক বেশি. এখানে প্যাডস পাওয়া যায়, বাট তার সঙ্গে সঙ্গে পাওয়া যায় tampons are something যেটা হলো গিয়ে tampons shouldn't be controversial. Tampons are basically a tube-like thing that you insert, and then that helps you absorb all all the menses, all the blood, and then you dispose of it. Disposal নিয়ে একজন একটা কথা বলছিল, আমি ওটাতে একটু পরে আসছি. হ্যাঁ দিয়া, there are plastic cups, there are এগুলোকে vaginal cups বলে আসলে. You basically, those are plastic cups, those are very flexible, you can insert it and then I guess the cup just collects it. অনেকে এটা পছন্দ করে, different women have different types of preferences এসব ব্যাপারে, right? তো tampons এর ব্যাপারে একজন বলল controversial এই কারণেই যে it's like, oh my god, you're inserting something up your vagina, you're not a virgin anymore. এগুলা stupid চিন্তা ভাবনা, এগুলা নিয়ে it shouldn't ever be controversial because tampons are something that every girl's more people in the US use tampons than pads, I think, because it's less messy than pads. আরো অনেক advantage আছে tamponer একটা খারাপ জিনিস হচ্ছে pad, if you overuse it for a long amount of time তাহলে it's okay. সাধারণত there are no health hazards, like it will stain, it can overflow, but no health hazards. Leaving tampon in your body for a long amount of time is not recommended. It's not good. It can lead to some kind of a shock, some shock syndrome. I forgot what the exact name of that, but basically that means that because the thing is so absorbent, it absorbs all the moisture in the environment that it's around, and then it's very difficult to get it out, and it's also very painful, and it can also lead to some kind of electrolyte imbalance, right? So yeah, Rubaiyat, if that's what you're talking about, but if you change your tampon frequently, it should be fine. Our tampons are also easier to carry than pads because they're very, very compact. আচ্ছা, সো এটা গেল menstrual health. এবারে একজন বলল যে how to dispose of them. Disposal হলো গিয়ে it's pretty easy because হচ্ছে okay, you go সাধারণত কলেজ ইউনিভার্সিটিতে ফিমেল ওয়াশরুম গুলোতে first of all there is a tampon station যেখানে usually there should be one. There's a tampon station in case you do not have a tampon or pad, you can probably put a penny and something comes out. সব জায়গায় আছে আমি বলছি না, বাট অনেক জায়গাতেই আছে। আর in the female washrooms also, in the toilets, you have this there's আমার কলম্বিয়াতে ছিল এবং অনেক জায়গাতেই আমি দেখেছি যে আছে, সেটা হচ্ছে there's this box of I forgot the brand, but box of these paper bags which are scented, right? Pink colored paper bags, very nice. They are scented, they have a beautiful smell. What you do is pull one of them out, it's like a paper bag, and basically toss your tampon, pad, whatever it is in there. You wrap it up, it smells beautiful because the paper is smells amazing, and then you just throw it in the regular trash. Yeah, it's simple as that. And then trash niye jaye. Yeah. So সাধারণত এই পেপারটা যে সব জায়গায় থাকে তা না। So in that case, you don't, বাংলাদেশে আমরা অনেক কাহিনী পড়ি, we like wrap it প্রথমে with a newspaper, তারপরে we wrap it with another newspaper, তারপরে I don't know, we paint it like so that it looks like something else. You don't have to do all of that. সাধারণত whenever you're using a tampon or a pad, whenever you're opening a new one, because you're replacing it, right? Whenever you're opening a new one, that wrapping can act as something you can wrap up that thing in and throw it out. So it's not a huge deal and people do not care. And সাধারণত USA তে বাসার টয়লেটই বলো বা বাইরের টয়লেটই বলো, always the washrooms have a trash of their own. Bangladeshe jeta hoy je amader trash ektai, it's the kitchen trash, so people are very about throwing all those different kinds of trash in the same basket. So ei jonno hoyto ei jinishta hoy, but tumi USA te ashar pore dekhba all washrooms bashaye hok baire hok, they always have a trash. So washrooms have a separate trash which is for all kinds of throwing all kinds of tissue paper, shampoo wrappers, anything anything that you need to possibly throw in a washroom, you throw in that trash. So it's always like separated. So our kitchen trash is usually a separate trash can. So etar jonno yeah, Protay, good question. If it happens to all, why shame in the disposal? Bangladesh is weird, that's why. So this is everything, I guess. Any more questions about menstrual health hygiene I can answer? USA washroom ki Bangladesher moto na Tasmia. The most important difference between a washroom in Bangladesh versus here is that, first of all, public washroom er kotha jodi bolo, এখানে ওয়াশরুম হাজার টাইমস ক্লিনার, বাট যে জিনিসটা নিয়ে একটু সমস্যা হবে সেটা হচ্ছে there is no water in the washroom. Yeah, there are no washers, there are no hand washes. Proga এই জিনিসটা আসলে আমরা we have struggled with. Wet tissues are a good option. হ্যাঁ, Shonam, definitely. Wet tissues are a good option. What I used to do in my dorm was I always used to I had a shower caddy. I always would
না
go.
না আচ্ছা ক্লারিফিকেশন দরকার হোয়াট পানি আছে হ্যাঁ হ্যান্ড ওয়াশ নাই
মানে
some
পানি বলতে, there is water in the sink, the taps have water, the showers have water, but the shower area is separate from the commode area, right? এবং ওই জায়গাটা যেখানে you're supposed to pee and poop, ওই জায়গাটাতে কোনো water নাই. However, there is a huge roll of tissue paper, a huge one. So usually people just wipe it with a dry tissue paper, but we are not used to that. This is something I had to struggle with a lot. Even I struggle with it now. So আমি যেটা করি সেটা হচ্ছে, যেটা করতাম সেটা হচ্ছে যখন ডর্মে ছিলাম, I used to have like this bottle of tiny bottle of plastic bottle of water. ওর মধ্যে ট্যাপের জল ভরে রাখতাম. I used to walk with that to the washroom and wet my tissue paper with that, because wet tissue sometimes can get expensive. হ্যাঁ, wet tissue use করাটা expensive দিয়া. So using it every time is yeah. So yeah, so I used to just carry a bottle of water inside the washroom and use as much as I needed. So different people have different adaptabilities. There might be other ideas. This is what I used to do. But what I have now, because what I have now is in an apartment. In my apartment, fortunately, there is a bio bidet. Basically, it's a mechanical bodna, if you will. Basically, you can just like turn it on, and there is a water stream that comes out from inside the toilet. So, and then that is helpful. It's not as flexible as hand shower, but it's also less messy than hand shower. Like the water doesn't go everywhere. Just look up bidets in America. But it's this thing that you have to install with your with your commode, and like Japanese probably use it. It's pretty good. Yeah, it's not it's like নেওয়া যাবে আর্দ্রতা, but I think it's easier, it's less conspicuous if you're walking to the washroom with a bottle rather than if you're walking to the washroom with a huge bodna. Yeah, but people do that too, আর্দ্রতা. And if you're living, for example, in a house যেখানে আমি যখনই কোনো বাঙালি বাসায় গিয়েছি, their washrooms always have one. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, এই জিনিসটা আসলে I cannot make sense যে এত উন্নত জাতি, মানে আমি জানি না আসলে উন্নত কিনা, বাট এত মানুষ বলে যে এত উন্নত জাতি আমেরিকানরা, why they don't choose water. But I think more and more Americans are now switching towards using water, because I think there's been a lot of কি বলবো, videos trying to and a lot of arguments that using water actually helps prevent the spread of many kinds of diseases and infections. Yeah. So that's it.
It's not that surprising that it took them so long to figure out. There are certain things in the Bengali culture that took people years to figure out, things that are obviously wrong.
Medical allowance কি university বহন করে কিনা? Medical allowance বলতে মানে মেডিকেল অ্যালাউন্স যদি তুমি হেলথ ইন্স্যুরেন্স বলে থাকো, তাহলে ইউনিভার্সিটি বহন করতেও পারে, নাও করতে পারে, depends on how much scholarship or financially you're getting. If you get a full scholarship, they will most likely also pay for your health insurance. Health insurance পাওয়া মানে যে বাকি বছরের জন্য তোমার হেলথ কেয়ারে যাই লাগুক না কেন ফ্রি, তা কিন্তু না. If you go to your health center, university health center, yes, it's free. But if you go to a specialist outside that center, you have to give a copay. Copay can be anywhere from $10 to $30, depending on your health.
No, even university health center will shop free now. It depends on the kind of treatment that you're getting, but it's heavily subsidized, so you only pay a very small amount. in most cases.
Students enjoy one of the best health insurance. One of the best bolbo na. I think there are two scenarios of a good health insurance. You work for a big company and they take care of your health insurance, or you're a student and the university takes care of your health insurance.
USA has the worst healthcare system in the whole world. So you'll get to know that more when you come here.
The worst bole acha discourage koro na.
The worst bolte not the, if you pay you get good treatment. The thing is that
you can afford
most people cannot.
Premium, you get world class health services. If you cannot pay, however, there isn't much people can do, because a kind of health paying out of pocket without insurance is almost impossible. Student health insurance এর cost তো I
2200 মনে হয় আমার ছিল আন্ডারগ্রেডে per
হ্যাঁ
year.
আমারও এখন ওরকম 2400 কিছু একটা হবে. That's per year or per semester, you remember?
Per year. হ্যাঁ dollar. Yeah, Sanders had a good healthcare system. Unfortunately, he's not coming.
The medical market in US, it's a huge business above everything. এই জন্য there are excellent doctors, there are excellent facilities, excellent clinical trials, excellent research. সবই খুবই ভালো. যেটা ভালো না সেটা হচ্ছে making it accessible to everyone. এটাই ভালো না।
Financial aid ছাড়া scholarship দেখা উচিত, of course. So merit scholarship এর জন্য যদি আলাদা করে apply করতে হয়, you should definitely be on. We'll talk about that more in the next session, I think. Financial aid নিয়ে কথা বলবো, but you should be looking for those two. Especially if you're applying to public universities. সেক্ষেত্রে তো আরো বেশি, because they don't usually not. In almost all cases, they don't give financial aid to international students. Well, I'm glad people are liking the conversation about the bottle.
Now, this was one of my ingenious inventions that it worked pretty well for me, let me tell you. Any other questions?
I hope you're doing well, Adruta. It's a bad time to be sick in Bangladesh, especially.
Yeah, we missed you too, Adruta. No worries. Hope you get well soon.
All right, I guess we'll end it, unless there are other questions.
Yeah,
we finished on time.
Surprised we finished on time. Yeah.
Well, acha, insurance সম্পর্কে কি বলবো? ইন্স্যুরেন্সটা $2200 ইউনিভার্সিটি থেকে পাওয়ার কি চান্স আছে? ফাইন্যান্সিয়াল এর জন্য অ্যাপ্লাই করার সময় উল্লেখ করতে হবে কিনা? No. So someone mentioned cost of attendance, right? So if this university covers the whole all your expenses, that means they will also take into account your health insurance. So $2200 বা whatever the amount is, they will include that in your cost of attendance. তারপর ওটার উপর scholarship দিবে, right? So that's the ideal case. So we both had full rights. So that means our health insurance was covered by the financial aid plan.
What happens now? Do you get the money for it, or do they pay it for you? Do you know?
Grad school?
Grad school?
I think they deducted from mine. I don't know how it works. Maybe
no, I think they paid for you, and if you get any dental or something other add-on, তাহলে পরে you have to pay out of pocket.
Achha. So the insurance covers everything. This is to answer Dia's question. It covers everything except chok ebong daat. So that's not included in the basic plan. You can also get dental and optical covered, but that requires more money. That requires you to pay more. Acha. How do you pay for it? So usually if you go to the university health center, it's just a regular transaction. The university তোমার বার্সার account থাকে, so there is a student account, ওখান থেকে কাটে এক হলো ওখান থেকে কাটে, অথবা ইউ ক্যান জাস্ট পে অন স্পট তোমার ক্রেডিট কার্ড ইউজ করে। আচ্ছা, এখন যদি ইউনিভার্সিটি বাইরে যাও, ধরো তোমার কোনো স্পেশালিস্ট লাগবে, তোমার পিসিপি, তোমার প্রাইমারি কেয়ার প্রোভাইডার বললো যে ও জাস্ট গো টু দিস other person who is a specialist in this disease, right? So you go there and then তাহলে সেক্ষেত্রে হয় হচ্ছে you have to pay to an external মানে agency যে তোমার পেমেন্টটা হ্যান্ডেল করবে। So either you pay to an external agency or there is something called debt. And basically the idea is that someone buys off that debt from that insurance company and you pay that other person. I'm not super clear how it works because I've never done that. I've only gone to university healthcare systems, but that's also a possibility. Jodi bayre jao, university bayre kothao jao.
So
How much?
To show you a sample, maybe if this helps. So basically, if you are part of a university, like this is my, oh my god, I don't know if you can see it, but basically this is my Yale Health insurance card, jeta all kinds of things that I mean Yale Health e jokhon jai, they ask to see this ID that I have health insurance, এবং they just refer to this ID number and they're like, okay, this person has paid insurance premiums, we can give them all this. Eta hocche geye for the dental part, because this this year for some reason I felt like acha I will pay for the dental aspect, এবং I did, although I didn't use it, so that was kind of stupid. So this is the dental add-on এর জন্য ওরা আলাদা করে একটা ইয়ে পাঠায়, because this covers the all the rest of the things যেটা comes with a basic plan, and this is an add-on that also covers the dental part.
Abrar was asking road accidents or road accidents hole ki cover korbe kina. I think that's covered. That should be part of your basic student plan. আর হাত পা ভাঙলে কভার করে আমি জানি, so I'm guessing road accident হলে যা যা ইনজুরি হতে পারে, I think that's covered as well. Asked for this before, but you assumed without scholarship. How much did you get? How much did you personally pay first year of college? I did not answer that. I did not understand that question, Prothoy. How should I look at the acceptance rate? You just Google university name followed by acceptance rate. Will bring that up. Jaywalking should be discussed. Jaywalking is it's a minor offense. I don't think even if it counts as an offense, but it's not recommended for obvious reasons. It's বিভিন্ন জায়গায় it's less the norm. So for example, Princeton এ মানুষকে দেখবা না jaywalking করতে, but if you go to New York, everyone jaywalks, right? But try not to do it. Especially it's more dangerous in places যেখানে গাড়ি ঘোড়া অনেক তাড়াতাড়ি চলে, অনেক জোরে চলে. So it's for your own safety that you shouldn't jaywalk. University of Arizona has 84%, but its tuition is 34K. Is the tuition 34K for international students, Nirjhar, is what you should be looking at. Because if it's not, then it's probably that's in-state tuition is 34K. I'm not sure. That's 84% for the rate goes down for international students. It's 84% in general, but it's not true for international students.
USA তে ক্রাইমের ফ্রিকোয়েন্সি কেমন? আজকের সেশন দেখে ভয় লাগতেছে। ভয় লাগার কিছু নাই। USA তে ক্রাইমের ফ্রিকোয়েন্সি বাংলাদেশের থেকে অনেক অনেক কম। You are more likely to die randomly on a day in Bangladesh than you are in US, no matter even in the worst area of US.
একটা কথা আছে না, যার মাথা নাই তার মাথা ব্যথাও নাই। বাংলাদেশে কাহিনীটা হচ্ছে এরকম, কোনো স্ট্যাটস নাই, মানুষ ভালো আছে। In fact, there is this stat that Bangladesh ranks pretty high in the happy life index. মানে people are happy with people are content with their lives because they haven't seen what other countries are doing. That's the problem.
The point of saying all this is not to scare you. The point of saying all this is so that you have you don't come here with the idea that, oh my god, US is like it's a safe haven. If you let your guard down, that's when bad things happen. বাংলাদেশে যতটা ইম্পর্টেন্ট গার্ড সবসময় অ্যালার্ট থাকা, আমার আশেপাশে কি মানে ইজ দেয়ার আ ছিনতাইকারী, ইজ দেয়ার আ কিডন্যাপার নিয়ার মি, এরকম মানে সবসময় অ্যালার্ট থাকাটা বাংলাদেশে ইম্পর্টেন্ট, এখানেও ইম্পর্টেন্ট, কোনো জায়গাতেই কম ইম্পর্টেন্ট না। এটাই হচ্ছে গিয়ে দ্য পয়েন্ট। এবং এগুলো নিয়ে বাংলাদেশে কখনো কথা হয় না। আই উইশ হতো, তাহলে হয়তো বাংলাদেশেও মানুষ অনেক বেশি সাবধান থাকতো, অনেক বেশি সেফ থাকতো। But if you ask about us, we never had a, I have okay, I'll be very frank here, I have had বিরূপ incident যদি বলতে হয়, I have had an uncomfortable stalking-ish experience. I have এখানে আসার পর থেকে I have never had a sexual harassment experience. বাংলাদেশে থাকতে I have had 1,000 probably is overstating, but আমার অসংখ্যবার I have been sexually harassed in the roads, in public, when I'm going to school, when I'm coming back from school. খুব ছোট থাকতে, and I think all the women here will agree that they have also faced the same thing. এখানে এসে আমার এটা মনে হয়নি। আমার এখানে এসে relatively as a woman I have felt so much safer, and that is coming from me who went to Columbia, which is in New York, which is Columbia is close to Harlem, which is not a very good neighborhood, and Yale. New Haven has one of the highest crime rates among college campuses, এবং দুইটা মিলাই আমার কখনো এত মানে I have felt 100% safer than I was in Bangladesh. So ভয়ের কিছু নাই, but these are things everyone should know.
Dia, how much do we get for insurance? We don't get money for insurance. It's usually তোমার, so undergrad-এ তোমার cost of attendance এর একটা part হচ্ছে insurance, and if you're getting a full scholarship or a full financial aid package from the university, that's also covered. So it's not like they pay you specifically for insurance or anything like that. So it depends on your financial aid package. ভ্যাকসিনের কাগজ না থাকলে কি ভিসা দিবে না? ভ্যাকসিনের কাগজের সাথে ভিসার কোনো কানেকশন নেই। it's a internal university policy usually. So ইউনিভার্সিটি তোমাকে কোর্সে এনরোল না করতে দিতে পারে তোমার ভ্যাকসিনের কাগজ না থাকলে।
How much was your total expense in your first year of college? Prota has been asking this a couple times. My total expense in my first year of college was the net, মানে expense বলতে কি বোঝায়? So I had to buy my own ticket when I went. Probably just that was it. তারপরের সব কয়েক বছর I had enough savings from my scholarship to pay for my ticket and have a pretty decent lifestyle. So I did not have any expense. Omlanero price similar.
Net expense would, if I were to guess, obviously I don't keep track of I should probably, but I don't keep track of it. Oh, I can tell you my expenses right now, which hasn't really changed from undergrad, because I have a thing. Keep going with the questions. I'll have.
I mean, in our schools, teachers used to skip the chapter sexual health or physical education book. Yes, আমাদের biology chapter reproduction part-টা কেটে রেখে দিত, and I wish I would love to have মানে more conversations about sexual health, sexual education. Everyone should know, but not the platform. Adrota, okay. Abrar Shariar said international students-রা গান ইউজ করতে পারবে কি সিকিউরিটির জন্য? আমেরিকাতে নাকি ক্রাইম বেশি হয়? ওকে, আপনার এই প্রশ্নটা আসলে খুব ইন্টারেস্টিং। গান ইউজ করতে পারার মতো আসলে কোন সিচুয়েশন আমার মনে হয় না আছে। দেয়ার আর পিপল ইউএসএ তে যারা বলে যে হচ্ছে গিয়ে গান লজ শুড বি রিল্যাক্সড, যাতে এভরিওয়ান ক্যান টেক কেয়ার অফ দেয়ার ওন সেফটি, বাট কাম অন, গান দিয়ে you never take care of your own safety, you harm others, right? Even if you have a, it's like there is 911, there is police. I'm not saying bad things don't happen, they do, but you don't need a gun, you don't need to carry around a gun. But if you're asking if you can purchase a gun, I think you can, because there এখানে কোনো
not as an international student.
হ্যাঁ,
not as an international, you
cannot buy
international হিসেবে কিনা যাবে না।
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. Not even with your state ID?
No.
Okay, apparently. Siam, do COA cover all costs in US? Cost of attendance? Cost of attendance covers all costs in US.
It covers more than your actual cost.
More than your actual cost, including books and onnano jinish, flight, transport, vacation, সবকিছু মিলায় আর কি ওরা কস্ট অফ অ্যাটেন্ডেন্স এর একটা মিসেলেনিয়াস একটা ক্যাটাগরি থাকে, ওখানেও কয়েক $1,000 থাকে যে অন্যান্য এক্সপেন্স হতে পারে, সব মিলায় কস্ট অফ অ্যাটেন্ডেন্স সাধারণত করা হয়। Can you talk about the school shooting and what to do? Okay, Dia. So there have been a lot of school shootings in America, but as much as it's very Bangladeshe কখনো এরকম হয় না that people walk in with a gun into a primary school and kill others. বাংলাদেশে হয় না because they would rather rob a bank. হ্যাঁ, মানুষজন পভার্টির কারণে ক্রাইম করে। ইউএসএ তে মানুষ শুধু পভার্টির কারণে ক্রাইম করে না। ইউএসএ তে sometimes it's a very কোন স্টেটে কোন জায়গাতে এমন হয় যে সাম পিপল মানসিকভাবে এতটা আই গেস বিপদগ্রস্ত হয়ে পড়ে যে দে ফিল লাইক আমিও মরবো, সবাইকে I'll go down and I'll take everyone down with me, এরকম একটা নিয়ে they probably somehow they get their hands on a gun, they খুব rage ভিতরে, these are crimes of either passion or these are crimes of rage যেখানে you're just so angry at someone, maybe like a teacher or your classmates. If you're getting bullied, এই ধরনের চিন্তা ভাবনা মাথায় আসে। কিন্তু বাংলাদেশে কেউ চাইলেই গিয়ে গুলি করে না because their parents don't own guns, but USA তে gun law এত relaxed যে that those things sometimes happen. Those are sad. ওগুলো হাই স্কুলে বেশি, কলেজে কম, বাট কলেজে যে কখনো হয় নাই তা না। এক্ষেত্রে কি আর বলবো, I think the best thing is to just dive for the floor and just stay there and play dead. I think that's, in my opinion, the best. But fortunately, none of you will ever have to encounter anything like that. I hope and pray everyone's happy and healthy and এরকম কিছু কখনো না হয়। Fat shaming, Protar, good question. USA তে সাধারণত, আমি বলছি না there aren't stupid people who do fat shame, but USA তে সাধারণত fat shaming হয় না। আমরা বাঙালিরা যেরকম খুব একদম ভীষণ আনন্দ নিয়ে ফ্যাট শেমিং করি, সেভাবে ইউএসএ তে ফ্যাট শেমিং হয় না।
আচ্ছা, I'll answer one of the questions that we had before. So it's a typical, not a typical month. Let me pick a typical month. So a typical month, our spending holo around $1,000 প্রত্যয়. And what does it include? So according to this data, it includes food and dining, কারণ আমার বাজার করতে হয়, includes auto and transport. So I was traveling a bit last month. এছাড়া আছে fees and charges of all the services that I use. So ধরো Spotify and everything, কিছু internet service and phone bill. That's it. That's all my charges.
আবরার এবং শাহরিয়ার, তোমাদের দুজনের কোয়েশ্চেন অ্যানসার করতে।
Sorry, 1,000 না, 800. Sorry, 1,000 না, 800.
But this is excluding rent.
This is excluding rent. So 800 plus rent.
Yeah.
Whatever that.
আমার probably, so আমার rent এখন কত, 600 plus আছে utilities which is around 100 to 150 or even 200. শীতের দিনে অনেক হিট জেনারেট করতে হয়, তখন ইউটিলিটি বেশি হয়ে যায়। তারপরে it's just similar food expenses like online. Okay, I'm answering Abrar's question. He asked the lower middle class national curriculum student the general suggestion ki apu and bhaiya. So lower middle class, so Abrar, I think as people from middle class backgrounds, I also think the application process itself costs money, so সেটার জন্য কিছু tips and tricks আছে যেটা we will explain in the next finance and financial aid and scholarship section. We'll also go over apply korte gele ki taka lagbe, so we'll deal with all the finances, so please attend that. Our national curriculum studentদের জন্য আসলে আমরা সেটা সাজেশন দিতে equipped now. We were both from English medium backgrounds, but you can reach out to many people on Bangladesh's border who have gone through a national curriculum and did so well. Labib is one of them, Labib Tajwar. He goes to Stanford reach out to him. Mahi goes to MIT. Mahi pura naam ki?
Mahi Shafiullah, I think.
Mahi Shafiullah. They're all amazing people, and I'm not sure if they're as active on personal chat or if they do check personal messages, but you can definitely
Just post on the general. I strongly encourage people to go for public discussions. তাহলে people who are active will reply to that. মানুষকে personally message করলে হয় কি, your chances of getting a reply is lower because you're only messaging one person. Just post it on the group. Anyone who has answers to it will get back to you.
Samin asks, do I need to get in touch with any admission consultation agency for my admission process, or is there any proper agency? So I mean, there are many agencies, but they don't know this process as well as we do. And trust me when I say,
No, don't do that. Don't go for a consultation agency.
Don't
টাকা নষ্ট হবে হুদাই।
don't go for consultation agency, টাকা নষ্ট হয়, because why I say that is তারা consultation agency ঠিক আছে, but they don't have a single person, an employee who has a degree from abroad যে তারা জানবে, you know. So it's like if none of you have ever done it, how do you know how to do it? So I recommend against it. It's a waste of money, it's a waste of time. They will অনেক বড় বড় কথা বলে, ওরা অনেক বড় বড় স্বপ্ন দেখায়, just not necessary. Our goal behind starting this workshop was A1. Many people ask questions যেগুলো আমার মনে হয় আমরাও just chat এ জিজ্ঞেস করলে বা গ্রুপে জিজ্ঞেস করলে অত details answer দিতে পারি না. So some platform like this Zoom sessions would be helpful, but also so that people from low income backgrounds do not have to feel like, oh, যাদের টাকা আছে they can go to consultation agencies, যাদের টাকা আছে they can pay. So it's really an effort on our part to try and close that gap. This is just information, and I hope that information should be available to everyone, and that's what the point of this workshop is. So I really recommend against admission consultation agencies.
Food and accommodation কি ইউনিভার্সিটি সাপোর্ট করে না স্টুডেন্টদের জন্য? না, মানে করে if you have a good package. Yeah, মানে I think people are having the wrong idea যে specific cost এর জন্য specific টাকা দেয়, এমন না ব্যাপারটা. They will just hand you a bunch of money and they will say that okay, তোমার টিউশন বাদ দিয়ে, তোমার এক্সপেন্সেস বাদ দিয়ে, তোমার রুম বোর্ড, ধরো তোমার ডর্মের খরচ আছে, ওরা কাটবে ওইটা ওখান থেকে, তারপর খরচ কাটবে, মিল প্ল্যানে থাকলে মিল প্ল্যানে খরচ কাটবে, সবকিছু বাদ দিয়ে তোমার এত টাকা বাকি থাকে বা এত টাকা পে করতে হবে. That's how it works. It's not like ফুডের জন্য তোমার এই টাকা দিলাম বা অ্যাকোমোডেশনের জন্য এত টাকা দিলাম. It doesn't work like that. I hope that's clear. So food and accommodation support করে if you have a good package. And if you don't, then you have to pay out of pocket. The other option is you can not go for the meal plan. Schooler meal plan থাকতে না পারো, you can choose not to go for that, or you can choose to stay in a private housing. সেক্ষেত্রে তোমার ওই টাকাটা স্কুল থেকে কাটবে না. And if you have a good package, they will give you that money. বলবে যে এই টাকাটা দাও, তোমার এক্সট্রা টাকা আছে, এত এই সব খরচ কাটার পরে ওই টাকা দিয়ে তুমি তোমার বাড়ি ভাড়া এবং তোমার খাবার খরচ দিতে পারো. Achha, Neerjor has been asking this for a while. I'm not sure if I still understand the question, but here's my attempt at answering. How should I look at the acceptance rate? The perspective on acceptance rate, and 84% is acceptance rate. So I'm guessing he's talking about a specific university which has an acceptance rate of 84%. And how should you dissect that information? So published যে acceptance rates থাকে ইউনিভার্সিটির, সেগুলো ন্যাশনাল স্টুডেন্টদের জন্য, মানে সিটিজেনদের জন্য, বা overall acceptance rate. That's not true for international students. International students জন্য ওইটা থেকে কম, right? So 84% দেখে খুশি হয়ে যাওয়ার কিছু নাই, because it's very likely, and especially if it's University of Arizona like you mentioned, I believe it's a public school. Correct me if I'm wrong. University.
Sorry, I'm just looking for আমার স্কলারশিপের ওই লেটারটা যদি খুঁজে পাইতাম, I think ওটা দেখালে পরে একটু সুবিধা হতো.
Acha, University of Arizona is a public school. So first of all, it won't give you aid. It won't give you financial aid as an international student. You can still try to get merit scholarships, which will cover a portion of your cost. But the 84% acceptance rate is not true for you. It's significantly lower than 84% for international students. Does that help answering your question? If you want more specific information about acceptance rate, I can try to answer. But acceptance rate is one of the factors that you should look into. But how can I get an idea? How can you gauge international students জন্য কত acceptance rate? So এটা ভালো কোনো উপায় না. You can try googling it, but very likely they won't have the data public, right? So a good approximation would be, let's say, half of the acceptance rate for the citizen, but this is just a guess. So if it's 84% for overall, then it might be like 42% for international students, but that's still high.
Something, if this helps, about the financial aid. Well, I don't know if okay, so basically you can see that this is like আচ্ছা এখানে হচ্ছে ওরা টোটাল কস্টটা বলছে, this is cost of attendance. এটা হচ্ছে I think my senior year. So tuition and fees, room and meals, books and supplies, travel, which is basically the plane fare mostly, personal expenses, right? এগুলো হচ্ছে গিয়ে $82,000. আচ্ছা এখন ওরা বলছে যে Columbia grants এ they were like $81,000 they're paying me. And this I will show you এটা কোথা থেকে আসছে $81,000. আর ওরা বলছে যে student employment, no matter who you are, parent contribution 0, student contribution 0, student employment বলতে ওরা বোঝাচ্ছে যে no matter who you are, কলাম্বিয়াতে they expect that তুমি তো কিছু একটা করবাই, so $18-20 তোমার হচ্ছে student work contribution. এটা হচ্ছে this is the maximum amount of financial aid you can get at Columbia. এই 1820 তোমাকে ওরা expect সব সময় করবে. So total to student responsibility হচ্ছে 1820, যেহেতু you can TA a course and something like that. But what I always used to do is I used to even get this 1820 waived through our WEP grant. Okay, so you can see that net cost হচ্ছে 1820, right? So financial aid, this is like a balance sheet. এটা হচ্ছে দুইটা সেমেস্টার এবং এটা হচ্ছে টোটাল. So CP Davis এটা হচ্ছে কস্ট কি আসছে এবং টোটাল কিভাবে this is the total cost এবং ওরা বলছে 1820 স্টুডেন্টকে দিতে হবে, right? CP Davis grant, this is my scholarship, এটা থেকে এতটা আসছে. মেডিকেল ইন্স্যুরেন্স গ্র্যান্ট থেকে মেডিকেল ইন্স্যুরেন্সের টা আসছে. ওয়ার্ক এক্সাম্পশন সামার এবং ফল, এই দুইটা মিলায়ে হচ্ছে এত টাকা আসছে. এবং এই যে 1820 ছিল এটাও আর কি হচ্ছে আমি স্প্রিংটা কিন্তু নাই, দেখো এখানে ওয়ার্ক এক্সাম্পশন স্প্রিং 1820 নাই, এখানে 0 লেখা. সো এইটা যখন আমি পাই তখন ওই স্প্রিং এর গ্র্যান্টটা পাই নাই. সো স্প্রিং এর গ্র্যান্টটা পরে অ্যাপ্লাই করতে হয়, পরে এটা ওরা ওয়েভ করে দেয়. সো দ্য টোটাল কস্ট অফ অ্যাটেন্ডেন্স ইজ এসেনশিয়ালি 0. সো তোমাকে ওরা হচ্ছে গিয়ে বেসিক্যালি এই পুরো টাকাটা এই যা তুমি পাবা সব কয়টা মাইনাস এই সব কয়টা is the money that you get basically. So I hope that helped. Sorry, কিছুই না, এটা হচ্ছে ওয়ার্ক এক্সাম্পশন প্রোগ্রাম, এটা কলাম্বিয়ার মধ্যে ছিল. ইটস লাইক আই ইউজ টু অলওয়েজ সে দ্যাট দেখেন আমি তো রিসার্চ করতেছি এন্ড রিসার্চের জন্য তো আই ডোন্ট গেট পেড, রাইট? আই ওয়ান্ট টু ডু রিসার্চ, ইটস আ গ্রেট অপরচুনিটি ফর মি, ইট উইল হেল্প মি গ্রো, সো প্লিজ জাস্ট ওয়েভ মাই স্টুডেন্ট কন্ট্রিবিউশন, ডোন্ট বদার মি, এন্ড দে উইল বি লাইক ওকে, basically that.
Protai, that is yearly. Abrar part-time job option আছে, but you're capped at 20 hours per week. You cannot work more than that as an international student.
দুইটা বাজে beach. You didn't like the Coney Island beach? তবে যদি বিচ কেউ পছন্দ করে, ইস্ট কোস্ট is a good place. Well, west coast
no, west coast is far better in terms of beaches.
I guess.
If you like beach and if you like good weather, the east coast is not the place for you.
Be on either of the coast if you want beaches. Do not be in the Midwest. তাহলে যেটা হয় যে it's in the middle, it's all surrounded by land, there is no beach. But আমরা যে চারটা ইউনিভার্সিটি পড়েছি চারটাই তো হচ্ছে ইস্ট কোস্টে, so we've always had plenty of lots of beaches around here. নিউ হেভেনেটাই গিয়েছিলাম রিসেন্টলি, it wasn't good. নিউ জার্সিতে বিচ আছে, কর্নেলে কি বিচ ছিল? কর্নেল
না।
probably doesn't have a beach. Yeah.
Niagara আছে কর্নারের কাছে। দিয়া কোনি আইল্যান্ড ইজ নট গুড। বাংলাদেশের বিচের মতন এখন পর্যন্ত আমি কোনো বিচ দেখি না। I have been to 3 so far. মানে 3 good beaches in the East Coast. I've not seen anything like Cox's Bazar. মানে ধারের কাছেও না। So don't have high hopes for beaches.
And I guess that makes sense, right? It's the biggest, it's the longest beach.
Right.
And you're looking at like the Bay of Bengal. It's so beautiful. Cox's Bazar or
WEP করলে কি on campus job করা যাবে না? That probably Shweti can answer. I don't know the answer.
so just want to make sure that this WEP is a Columbia specific thing. সব ইউনিভার্সিটিতে যে থাকবে তা না। WEP করলে on campus job করা যাবে না তা না। I used to do research and I used to do তোমার TA, right? So আমি TA থেকে যে টাকাটা পেতাম ওটা আমি এখানে দিয়ে দিতে পারতাম, but I also want to save money. But I also was doing research and I wasn't getting any payment for that. So or credits for that. So আমি করতাম কি, আমি যেহেতু দুটাই করতাম, আমি রিসার্চের কাজটা দেখাতাম যে আমি তো রিসার্চ করছি, so that takes up a lot of my time, so please just waive this, and they would waive that, like ও রিসার্চ করুক মন দিয়ে। বাট আমি তার সাথে টিও করতাম এবং আমি ওই টাকাটা I would just pocket it because that's my money. Otherwise, if you think about it, যদি আমি রিসার্চটা না করতাম, I could have taken 2 courses to handle my time, right? তখন একটা কোর্সের পেমেন্ট দিয়ে 1800 আমার পে করে দেওয়া হতো, আরেকটা আমার তাও পকেটে থাকতো। So instead of that, the research was important to me. So this is basically a way of letting students do volunteer work or volunteer in research labs. Because research lab, professor, I never wanted to burden my professor. My professor would have been happy to pay. I never wanted to burden. Work exemption program was easier. আর আরেকটা জিনিস সবসময় বলবো, if you work with a professor and if you can manage your own funding, which I always did, I always applied to multiple different grants over the 4 years. Samare during the fall, I'm either work exemption program grant, Johnson & Johnson scholarship, there was something called CIF, এরকম অনেক I used to be very proactive about funds, apply to funds, and তাতে হতো কি প্রফেসরের সাথে খুব সুন্দর সম্পর্ক বজায় থাকে because there is no money involved, and the professor is like, okay, this student is not a burden to me, she's great. যত কম প্রেসার দিবা প্রফেসরের উপর financially, the happier they'll be with you.
Just Samin asked, how will I get the idea that how should I enlist my colleges by considering acceptance rate? So, like I said, you look at the acceptance rate that's published, but keep in mind that that's not the acceptance rate for international students. The international students জন্য আরো কম হবে acceptance rate. And a good rule of thumb may be like half of what they're accepting, right? And if it's public university, it's usually worse. But a good rule of thumb is half. Just যেটা published data দেখতেছো ওটার half তোমার acceptance rate. Dorm or off campus কোথায় reside করলে বেশি cost effective? It depends on the location. For example, if you take Columbia for example, Columbiaতে বাইরে থাকলে টাকা বেশি লাগে because New York is very expensive and Columbia housing is subsidized, so they charge less if you're a student. On the other hand, if you take a place like Cornell's school dorms are more expensive than off campus. মিলের ব্যাপারটাও একই, New York options বেশি, so if you dine outside then it's cheaper, but if you decide to cook it's cheaper than the Columbia meal plan. On the other hand, if you go to Cornell and if you take the meal, it's less expensive because বাইরে options come. So if you go outside and you buy food every day from outside, it's more expensive than the school meal plans. What if this program was paid? Is that freelancing? Is that within 20 hours it's meaning Start Smart? It's not. It wouldn't fall under 20 hours because we won't be paying taxes on it, right? So but if you're working in the school, let's say as a library assistant, or if you're working on campus as some other, if you have some other job on campus, সেক্ষেত্রে you need to pay taxes on it, and it's going to be counted towards your 20 hours requirement.
আমি একটু ক্ল্যারিফাই করি একটা জিনিস।
হুম।
তুমি যদি 20 hour তুমি এই for example say the audience of this start smart program that we're doing, we decided to make it paid, and the audience is US college students, not you guys, right? In that case আসলে মানে audience doesn't matter, but আমি যেটা বলতে চাচ্ছি যে if you're doing this through, for example, if we were doing this for on behalf of Kaplans or something, তখন কিন্তু we would have to pay tax. এবং
Right. So I can give an example. So I worked briefly with this thing which Crimson Education. So that's the name of the organization. So basically they provide admission consultation group কথা বললো একজন, consultancy organization for US admissions. That's basically what it is. You assign a mentor for each student, and they pay you a lot of money for doing that. And so ওইটার ক্ষেত্রে I had to pay taxes. So আমাকে tax paper পাঠাইতো ওখান থেকে বলতে পারে it's a company based on New Zealand, in New Zealand. So they used to send tax papers, and I had to pay taxes on my income from that organization. I highly recommend not going for consultancy organization. I believe education should be free, and I don't think you should be paying for any of this information.
Abrar asked finally একটা কোয়েশ্চেন, আপু বাসায় থেকে 1 টাকাও না নিয়ে পড়াশোনা আর এয়ার টিকেট ম্যানেজ করা সম্ভব কিনা? That's basically what I did. But that was also in part না entirely due to Colombia's generosity. এবং Colombia has given the financial package that Colombia gave me. I was very, very fortunate to get that. And also even not just the basic scholarship টা ভালো ছিলই, এছাড়াও প্রত্যেক সামারে যখনই I needed money, I always got money. এবং the result being that at the end of 4 years I had saved up a significant amount of money that I deposited in a bank, and am now getting interest on it. So it is possible, but it really depends on the package that you receive.
আচ্ছা, আমি এখানে একটু অ্যাড করি, it's likely that your university will not provide you such a wonderful financial aid package. Colombia can afford to. Their endowment is insane, right? All these IVs have huge endowment. তুমি যে কলেজে যাচ্ছ হয়তো it's not going to have such a large endowment, so they can't afford to pay you such a good financial aid package. But even then, I think it's just don't stress out about the funding. শুরুতে এই ডিসিশনটা ইম্পর্টেন্ট যে আমার এই ফান্ডিংটা কি আমি অ্যাফোর্ড করতে পারবো কিনা, all the other expenses. এখানে আসার পর don't stress about it. যা হয়ে গেছে, focus on your academics. That's more important. রান্না করার জন্য কিচেনের ফ্যাসিলিটি আছে যেটা সব ডর্মে থাকে. I have a studio, so it's different. But if you're in a dorm, it's very likely তোমার ফ্লোরে আছে অথবা the whole building has one, and you can use that. Dorm or host family, which one is better? I don't know anything about host families. I know they exist and people do that. I don't know what the experience is like.
I don't think people anymore want to host people. আমি বলছি না কখনো হয় না, but host families are more of a thing. ধরো you go to a country যেখানে তুমি কয়েক মাসের জন্য থাকবা, তখন a host family is good. And but একজন মানুষের বাসায় তো 4 বছর তুমি থাকতে পারবে না।
সত্যি কথা বলতে করবি, this is probably the first time I'm encountering this term. this বলতে হচ্ছে এই workshop শুরু করার পর থেকে, because I'm not familiar with it. I know that people host you for dinners during Christmas or Thanksgiving, but I haven't heard people hosting a student for the entirety of the undergrad.
It's a very European concept. I think that's very common in Europe. That's why people know about it.
Adrota is fascinated by frats and sororities. It's interesting. It's a very, very unique opportunity to connect, to network. There are downsides to it as well. There are many positive sides to it to frats and sororities. So it depends on your personality. কি বলবো আর কি বলবো আমি জানি না, মানে it gives you a very good way to network, to develop a professional network. আর downsides বলতে, the lifestyle will change. It's a very different concept of life than what we are used to. We বলতে আমরা খুবই ট্র্যাডিশনাল মধ্যবিত্ত বাঙালি ফ্যামিলি থেকে আসছি দুজনেই, so I'm guessing many of you are from those kinds of families, so it will be very different, the whole culture, frat culture. But I'm not saying I'm not saying it's a bad or a good thing. It's a different style and gives you a lot of opportunities to network. So I'll focus on the positive sides. A dorme thakle you live alone, right? You're on your own, you develop.
Main things I refrained from entering a sorority was that frats and sororities are networking events. There are lots of under 21 people. There is lots of drinking, lots of partying involved, because networking is a lot of that. অনেক advantage ছিল, but for me, in my first few years of college, I was very uncomfortable around alcohol and noise. Like you would see, like my last year of college, আমি যে রাস্তাটায় থাকতাম, I had like a bunch of frats and sororities across from the street from me. আমি রাতে আমার ঘুম ভেঙে যেত ওদের চিল্লাচিল্লিতে. So it's a very noisy culture, very party culture. If you are an introvert, then তোমার জন্য আসলে এটা
সব frat এরকম না. I should add this. There are frats which are very competitive to get into. For example, let's say you have probably heard of Bone and Dagger. It's a very famous Yale frat, not take, right? Skulls and Bones. Skulls and Bones, right? Skull and Dagger, right?
Dagger key.
Skull and key. Acha. Whatever. I'm not like I said, I'm not too familiar with it. But Skulls and Bones is one of the most famous ones from in the whole world. It's a secret student society. So it's kind of like a frat, but they don't call it a frat. And many famous people around the world were part of it, like Bush was part of it. Anyway, so there are famous ones. There are interesting ones. এছাড়াও ফ্র্যাট বাদেও আছে professional society, so those are very hard to get into. I wanted to be part of it, I couldn't get into one. যখন মানে শুরুতে যখন chance, when I could have gotten into one, I didn't, because I was done with college almost. But professional societies I highly recommend. Those are very competitive. You need to have a high GPA, you need to be very smart to get into one of those. আচ্ছা, আরেকটা কেউ একজন জিজ্ঞেস করছিল, did I have full right to Cornell? I did, Tasmia. So এখন they're being stupid. Cornell is being stupid, and they're saying that we are going to not be need blind anymore. We're going to be need aware for international students. Previously, it didn't used to be the case. The situation was different. So I think আমি যাওয়ার 3 বছর পরে, when I was almost graduating, that's when they switched to need aware. And I think almost all IBs are need aware. So they're not doing anything weird. It's just that they're
Columbia was need aware when I applied, but tarporeo, I guess it comes down to of how much that university thinks you're a good fit and how much they want you versus how much they're willing to pay for you. It's just like তোমার কাছে টাকা আছে, you're buying a car. Think about yourself as a car, a very expensive car. So would you buy this car or that car? It's kind of like that. So when universities are need aware, they have all this pool of money and they're like, আমি কি একে নিব না একে নিব, কাকে নিলে better হবে?
Okay, let's try to end this in
okay.
Soon. Dollar convert, maybe Google is fine. I don't think you'll care about a few cents down the years. When I 2-3 বছর গেলে, you won't care about if it's 81.2 versus 81.3. কোন প্যাকেজ বা কোন ইউনিভার্সিটিতে গেলে স্টাডি ফুড অ্যাকোমোডেশন এর টিকিট ম্যানেজ করা যাবে, এটা I can't answer that for you. It's going to be your choice. কোন ইউনিভার্সিটি, obviously it's going to be your choice. কোন প্যাকেজ, I can tell you a little bit. Don't go for universities, don't go for financial aid packages যেখানে শুধু তোমার tuition cover করবে. Make sure that your package covers your tuition plus all the other expenses, or at least a significant part of all the other expenses. Koon University, I can't answer that for you. It's up to you.
Also, Abrar, it's important to realize that it's not like these packages are like widely advertised. Package niye jani, package ase, package ase. It's not like that. It's really a process. So I'm not sure that you have seen all the other videos. So ogula dekhle pore maybe tomar concept একটু clear হবে. নির্ঝর, আমরা শুধুই ইউএসএ অ্যাপ্লিকেশন নিয়ে কথা বলবো because we haven't applied anywhere else.
আমরা আসলে consulting agency না তো, so we don't have any idea about the other countries. আমরা USA application process এ গেছি, and I think we advertise it as such যে আমরা US admission নিয়ে focus করব. Thanksgiving হচ্ছে একটা just Google it. If I want to apply AD, should I choose a top tier or middle tier university as a middle class student? I'm expecting a good rate of financially. So you can have to catch us, right? So a top university has a lot of endowment, so they can afford to pay you. Middle tier. I mean, I'm খারাপ বলছিলাম, but I'm just saying যে ওদের তুলনায় endowment কম থাকবে, right? So they can't afford to pay you as much. So there is this trade-off. But for ED, I would strongly recommend applying to your dream school, whether that's a top tier or a middle tier. যেখানে গেলে you know that you'd be happy.
তবে সামিন, আমি এটাও বলতে চাই যে if you don't think that your application ranks anywhere close to the incoming class of a given university in the top tier, আমার মনে হয় ইডি সেক্ষেত্রে নষ্ট করারও দরকার নাই। ওখানে দিয়ে if you strongly feel যে না আমার এখানে হবেই না, তাহলে apply to a middle tier university that gives good financial aid, but make sure that you will be happy in that university. ট্রেড অফটা আই হোপ তোমরা বুঝতে পারছো যে টপ টিয়ার ঢোকা কঠিন, কিন্তু ঢুকলে পরে ফাইন্যান্সিয়াল এড পাওয়া is not a big deal. আর মিডল টিয়ারে ঢোকাটা সহজ, বাট ঢুকলে পরে you may or may not get enough financial aid. So it's a trade off. এজন্যই আমরা বারবার বলি একটা ব্যালেন্স কলেজ লিস্ট বানাতে, দুই ধরনের ইউনিভার্সিটিতে অ্যাপ্লাই করতে, যাতে just see which one works out for you. So someone asked Thanksgiving ki. Thanksgiving is one of the most widely celebrated national holidays in the US. আমাদের থ্যাঙ্কসগিভিং এর সময় ছুটি থাকে। থ্যাঙ্কসগিভিং এর সময় আমরা থ্যাঙ্কসগিভিং হচ্ছে নভেম্বর মাসে হয় সাধারণত। থ্যাঙ্কসগিভিং এর ছুটি সবাই পালন করে, বড় করে ডিনার করে। it's a holiday যেদিনকে আর কি families get together and celebrate that day together. Yeah, so let's end our session today. Thank you everyone for very important questions and comments, and we always enjoy leading the sessions. Good night.
All right, good night.